The moment is here, you can stop your search. It's Comics by Perch.
Hello, everyone. It's Perch P. Perchington at your service. Okay, so we got this, found a Kickstarter right up your alley. It's a mail. A lot of people sent this to me. This is the Cherry Omnibus 40th Anniversary Edition hardcover via Kickstarter. You can go to it right now. It's on Kickstarter, and I know that's an immediate no from several of you, and that's what we're going to talk about in this video. But before we do that, it's Cherry. And this is from comic legend, and I think it's fair to say underground comic legend, Larry Weiss. And this is a limited run collector's edition hardcover. It is, let's see, how much is this thing? Look, Cherry, this is porn, but I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, it is what it is. Cherry, let's see how they describe it. Cherry Pop-Tart began titillating comic book audiences with very mature and very explicit tales of love and hot sex. Some call it an X-rated Archie Comics because Cherry comics have a similar art style. It's called parody, and it's filled with sex. We call it a scathing critique of 80s and 90s culture wars wrapped in pop culture parody with a healthy rejection of the pseudo-moralistic and puritanical haze of a post-Reagan era with sex. Did we mention the sex? This is a ton of it in this book. It's not safe for work, doesn't even begin to cover it. This is a one-way ticket on the Smut Express to Smut City in a sexy, cute comic book form. Yeah, no, for sure. It is. It's an adult comic, but it was a classic part of the 80s. And so it has its piece there. Anyway, 7.25 by 10.25, 616 pages, 80-pound pages, glossy hardcover. That's pretty nice. And I still cannot tell how much this fucking thing is. There's some Cherry action figures. Looks like we've got some different tiers. How much is this goddamn thing? I don't know. I probably breezed past it because I'm just scrolling around on this, but I don't know. It's made a bunch of money. How much to back this project? We're going to click the button, and Kickstarter is going to tell me $130 is what they want for this. That's actually pretty fucking expensive. Anyway, then there's some different versions. What's interesting about this thing, by the way, is they have pictures from the book that include, which is pretty crazy when I think about the things that Kickstarter has taken off for being, offensive. In fairness, I don't think a lot of the stuff they've taken off is offensive, and I don't think this is offensive. But anyway, it's interesting to see the nudity here and have them, basically ignore it. For other projects. Anyway, whatever, be that as it may. Anyway, the Cherry hardcover is out there. Now, what is this about Kickstarter? So, I continue to be kind of fascinated by the dialogue around Kickstarter. Kickstarter recently hired a new person to kind of oversee comics. No, Joe Glass didn't get the job. But he, this new guy has some past tweets people are resurfacing where he's like, fuck the Republicans. I don't remember. I'm paraphrasing. I don't know if that's what he said, but anyway, he's bitching about something. And it's reignited this little debate over should you support Kickstarter? And what is supporting Kickstarter basically turning your back on people who were kicked off and everything else? And I guess I don't know. This is your mileage may vary kind of conversation. Ultimately, at the end of the day, things like boycotts, things like supporting, one thing over another for, moral reasons or unity reasons or whatever else, it has to be a personal decision. I think if you try and get into it as a group shame kind of effort, like you can't see this or you can't do that, that's always a huge turnoff for me. Like the fastest way to get me to not support your cause, whatever the fuck it might be, is if you start telling me I have to do something or can't do something. That's a no. I will never support you if you start telling me what I have to do. So anyway, but this has come back up because Kickstarter hired this new guy. Kickstarter has definitely thrown some books off of it that, quote unquote, were not their terms of service. At the end of the day, it's a private company. They can, in fairness, do what the fuck they want. But it is. I mean, that's their call. Everybody gets to make their own choices, if a boycott gets too loud, Kickstarter will undoubtedly change course and start offering things in if it starts to hurt them. At the moment, it's clearly not hurting them because they're continuing to kind of curate the material they want to curate, which I don't know. I'm trying to think of the big summary. There are conservative, meaning right-wing books and projects on Kickstarter. There are. Several of the comics that have been kicked off have leaned in that direction, whereas the corresponding left-leaning books are not kicked off, is what it looks like. They say what it looks like. That is what is happening. Now, I am relatively positive that there have been some left-leaning books kicked off of Kickstarter that either I'm not aware of or nobody's mentioned or who the fuck knows. I'm sure there's some out there. I'm sure of it. But there have been more right-wing books that have been removed. Usually for things like, what was the one, I can't, now I'm misremembering. It's like the guy was a Border Patrol agent, and then it kind of sounded like I'm telling the story completely wrong. It was Barron. It was Barron's book, and it was that this it was like it sounded like a kind of a Rambo-ish story. The guy gets frustrated, and then decides to take matters into his own hands and everything else. I don't know what was in the book, but people did articles about it, called it hate speech, and the terms of service immediately kicked in. The guy's book was kicked off, thus basically screwing his campaign. And again, my stance should be the house of open ideas. If the book is disgusting or bad or portrays the wrong ideals or whatever it happens to be, then I think the free market should basically dictate that. I think it's well and fair for people to go out there and say, this is a terrible book, you shouldn't promote it, you shouldn't buy this, shame on you if you buy it. If you want to write all that stuff, fine. But I think that the marketplace, the vendor in this case, Kickstarter or Indiegogo or whoever, should basically say, yeah, okay, but we're going to let the market decide. It's not for us to decide. That's the stance I would take, but I'm not in charge of Kickstarter, so I don't get to make those rules. They do. But anyway, the debate comes up of, if you are an indie comic creator and you want to put your book out, should you avoid Kickstarter? Because Kickstarter has done this to other creators, and you should stand in solidarity to them. Look, I'll only tell you about my point of view. You can do what you want. My point of view is, at the end of the day, if you're a businessman, you should go try and make money. And if Kickstarter is the way that you think you can make more money, then I think that's your business and your business alone. If somebody wants to isolate you or shit on you for making that choice, then okay, that's something you need to know going in. Basically, if part of selling your book, I'm trying to say this in a non-convoluted way, if part of selling your book is attracting an audience that is negative toward Kickstarter, then you would be an idiot to put your book on Kickstarter, because you're, in effect, running a risk, or at least you're putting a big test to your audience to say, are you willing to basically back this book or basically go with this company that I know you don't like because you love me more than your dislike for that company? Why would you put that choice to your consumer? That'd be crazy. So I think for that reason, no. But in terms of should you pick Kickstarter, should you pick Indiegogo, you pick the one that's going to work for you best. And work for you means, work for how the finances get paid. I found I've done things on Kickstarter. I've done things on Indiegogo. I found Indiegogo's model of releasing the money and all that kind of stuff is better than Kickstarter's. Purely financial, purely boring, operational, logistical reasons, I find Indiegogo to be a better system for how the money is deployed to you. But again, that's somewhat personal preference. If I was selling a book that had conservative views on it, I would definitely, I probably would not pick Kickstarter, because I know that my audience has disagreements with Kickstarter, even if I like that business model. So to me, this is there's a lot of dramatization going on. Again, the argument of like, if you really stood with us, then you would never use Kickstarter. I've seen some people throw around. To me, that's I understand the pragmatism of that. I understand maybe the truth behind that. I don't like it because I don't like ultimatums. I don't like the you will do it our way, or you're excommunicated from the church kind of that's I don't know. To me, any friend that would give me a you do it my way or the highway is not a friend. So I'd bail out for that reason. I'm like, that's not going to factor into my decision process. What should factor into everybody's decision process is very strictly, what's in it for you. By the way, if you are reliant on, a group of people to market your book, and that group of people hates Kickstarter, probably shouldn't use Kickstarter. Again, these choices are all yours. You. You get away pros and cons. When you wake up in the morning, if you're like me, you put both legs in the pants at the exact same time because I'm awesome that way. Of course, I have to then figure out where to place my massive penis because that's why I can't wear skinny jeans. But regardless, everybody has their own choices to make in life, and if your choice is, hey, this is the platform I want to run my campaign on, it's up to you. Take the goods with the bads. By the way, if you pick Indiegogo and you believe that a big portion of your audience or the bulk of your audience are going to be people who are, left-wing activists on Twitter, I would say that's stupid. Don't run it on Indiegogo. That would be dumb. Go run it on Kickstarter. Go talk to Zoop. Zoop is a whole different animal. I mean, Zoop is not. I mean, Zoop brings with it a lot more than I think Kickstarter, Indiegogo. You can debate the business merits of each. Zoop is a different animal. It's doing more for you. It's taking on more curated projects. Wholly different thing. But in terms of those two, I mean, look, figure out who your audience is, figure out what you need to do with it, and then go. That's it. And please don't browbeat people for what platform they choose. Just like, what is the expression? Like, this isn't an airport. You don't need to announce your departure. Just if you're bothered by somebody, just don't fucking put the money toward it. It's very easy to go, hey, I don't like that platform. That platform did bad things for a friend of mine in the past. I won't support things on that platform, but I wish you the best. Good luck. It's easy. You don't need to do these long speeches about how you're like, you're a betrayer of the cause. If you like, for fuck's sake. I mean, life would be a lot simpler. Just like put on your big boy pants, make the decision you're going to make, weigh the pros and cons, decide, go for it, live with the consequences. And on the other end, buy what you're going to buy, pay what you're going to pay, state your reasoning. If you're going to say, like, I'm not going to support you because I don't, this platform is bad for me. State your reasoning, then move on. We don't all, not everybody deserves to be, you don't have to explain every decision you make. You can just make decisions and then go with it. Nobody needs to write a novel about why they made a decision the way they decided it. Today I had a salad with steak on it for lunch. I didn't feel like, something too greasy, so I had some nice tri-tip little pieces on salad. It's kind of hot outside. Salad sounded kind of refreshing with steak on it. So I got my steak and my salad. That's what I felt like eating. And the other person I was eating with got this like plate of pasta. I did not feel the need to go, well, shit, man, I don't like pasta because the fucking Italians are a bunch of thieves and bastards. So I won't support Italian food, like, because they Jesus, nobody cares. Just eat your fucking steak. I don't know. Or maybe you do. I don't know. Look, you never put it this way. I'll give you that. You don't ever need to explain yourself to me, ever. Just do what the fuck you want to do. That's life's so much better. Anyway, thanks for listening.